Hello, everybody. Well, it's a matter of pride for me as a father as well as the IELTS trainer that Sanjoli Banerjee, my elder daughter, she's here with us to share her experiences. Let me tell you that her score in IELTS speaking was 9.0 bands, which is marvelous, which is otherwise extraordinary. And her overall score was 8.0 bands. So, congratulations, Sanjoli.
Thank you very much.
I'm very positive that this video is going to give you a lot of confidence and is going to motivate you. As the person sitting before you, Mihir Banerjee, scored 8.5 in speaking, and this time I would say that I must accept that my daughter beat me. But at the same time, it is not all about being beaten. It's all about accepting the fact that parents or teachers never lose because their children, their students, and those who are learners around, they always bring laurels, and that gives confidence to the parents as well as teachers. So once again, Sanjoli, I welcome you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, over to you. How had been your experience and before the interview, after the interview, before IELTS and after IELTS? How had been your experience and how you felt? And I would say that you must go ahead with your experiences. Yeah, please.
I was in class 11 when I appeared in IELTS for the first time, and I was dreaming to go abroad to Australia to pursue my higher education. So that's why I had to appear in IELTS. I did not have any idea about IELTS, so as my parents are IELTS trainers themselves, so they were the best guides, and I took classes from them in my summer vacation. As regards IELTS speaking is concerned, I was trained by my dad and my teacher. I didn't seem very confident before, so I would give continuous interviews, I would attend his classes, take notes, and I got to know the track on which I had to speak through those classes. But I didn't mug up or learn those answers, but I just got to know the idea on which I had to speak. It was not much later, it was maybe in a month's time that I took the exam. And I still remember when I came out of the IELTS speaking interview, I seemed a bit confident and I was like, I might get 7.5 bands because I did well, but wasn't expecting 9 bands because I hadn't heard of that before, especially from the city I come from in Karnal. So, however, just a few weeks later, when I got my result, it was a perfect 9 band in speaking, which gave me a lot of motivation, I think. So that's all about my experience.
Sanjuli, the common notion that people carry, particularly those who aspire to take IELTS, that it is only grammar that matters. How much do you agree that it is not about grammar, it's more about expression and ideas?
I would definitely agree with that because, of course, on one hand, English matters because, after all, it's an international English language testing system. So, English language definitely matters, but it isn't that if you just express your Tharurian English or you flaunt your vocabulary, so they might give you 9 bands. I think, and especially if I talk about my case, I was very original with my answers. I was very clear, so clarity, and then proving and like justifying what you say, and then get being original, so that if they cross question you or they have more detailed questions, you are ready to answer them. So I think those kind of things surely helped me, and of course, sensible answers and the way you express yourself, your communication skills, your humbleness, I think, your humility, the way you greet the interviewer when you enter, and the way you smile and talk. So I think everything matters a lot. The more artificial you seem, I think that won't help you. So yeah.
Fine. How much do you agree that it is not all about choosing Patiala, Ambala, or Dehradun as particular centers where you think that you get more bands? This is a common notion among the students that you go to Patiala, you get more bands, or you go to a particular place. How much do you agree that it is not about the place, it's basically about the person and the proficiency?
Honestly, I have no idea how does that matter and how does that relate to your scores, because venue is one thing and you never know who the interviewer is going to be. So I had no idea. I just because I didn't get a date according to my convenience in my home city, Karnal. So the next closest destination or the IELTS test center was Ambala, so I just chose that. But I seriously have no idea how a venue or the interviewer can have an impact on your IELTS score. I've often heard cases that the interviewer wasn't very keen on listening to the interviewee, or they weren't very happy. So that's one thing, but you do your best, so I think that matters.
Yeah. How can we arouse the curiosity of the interviewer? How can we make an interview an interesting experience?
I think I would say your mannerisms, the way you carry yourself, your communication and interpersonal skills. Apart from that, your answers, the way you express yourself, I think that would surely somewhere catch the interviewer's attention. And if your answers are, again, it goes back to your originality, the way you speak and you answer their questions, that would be enough to catch the
Yes.
attention.
Okay. In fact, your mother happens to be the director of Banerjee IELTS Academy. She's a trainer also, and she takes care of three other modules, that is reading, listening, and writing. So, how had been your experience with her?
Um, Earlier, I was a bit non-serious. I would honestly confess that, because it was my parents' coaching institute. But later, when I saw other students' zeal and her hard work to work with them, I realized that I had to become serious and compete with others. And I like that was a source of motivation. The other students who came, and they were very zealous about doing their work, so that was a big source of motivation. And my experience with her, so later it was more a teacher and less of a mother I saw in her, and it was a great experience. The way she has a very good hold on writing task, and how the answer should be structured, what kind of ideas matter, and everything. So I think that's like a blessing for the students who come to her and study from her. Regarding listening and reading, I think being a student, since I'm already into studying, so my reading and listening skills weren't that bad. So once I gained tips from her, so I was confident with that. But writing and speaking, I wasn't confident honestly before the classes. But once I took classes from both of you, it was very helpful. Yeah.
How much does reading newspaper help those aspiring to take IELTS?
Um, yeah, so I have been groomed in that matter, in that way, that reading newspaper or books or listening to some news channels, watching documentaries has been a part of my life. So I would agree that that has helped me to a great extent. Reading newspaper, one, improves your vocabulary. Second, it improves your expression, the way you express yourself. And number three, it keeps you updated with the current affairs. So if they ask you a cue card question, or especially a discursive question, so you can actually link that to a current affair or an article you read. So yeah, so it actually, a good reader makes a good writer, a good reader makes a good speaker. So surely.
Fine. So your basically score is extraordinary, and there's, I would say, hundreds of people who would ask for not more than 6 or 6.5. So what are the basic things the aspirants must take care of while taking examination? I'm talking about those who focus on 6 to 6.5.
For aspirants of 6 to 6.5 bands, I would say whatever you say, I think grammar would be very important. So first of all, focusing on grammar, then coming to ideas, because grammar is the foundation of whatever you say. So grammar is the first and foremost thing. Then ideas, what you say, and it shouldn't be like very general, like it was very nice, it was good. So these words are very general. So I think just looking for synonyms of that. So just like preparing some adjective notes. So that's what I did. So if you're speaking or describing a place, so I think it's good to prepare some adjectives beforehand to describe a place, to describe people, to describe an event. And if you have those notes beforehand, I think those can help you, and you just read them every day. So that can help you express yourself better. So grammar and some good vocabulary notes you prepare.
Certain people say that you must have that British accent or American accent, otherwise you will not score more than 7 bands. How much do you agree that this is not the only thing that they're looking for? They're looking for something beyond accent or grammar.
Regarding accent, I think accent is a more superficial thing. Being an Indian student abroad in Australia and England, I've totally experienced. I still haven't got the English British accent or the Australian accent, but still I communicate with them, and a lot of times I'm able to impress those people abroad. So I don't think accent matters really. It's how what you have to speak and how you have to speak. Accent isn't an important or a significant thing, especially in Ielts. So I didn't have an accent, a fancy accent in my class 11, because I was a normal Indian student studying in class 11. So that's a more superficial thing that makes your interview hollow. So if you want to add substance, I think your ideas and your expression is more important.
Fine. I've learned that you were honored by Lions Club Canberra in Australia for being a wonderful orator. How much do you agree that confidence and body language, your problem-solving ability, teamwork and initiative, these are extra qualities the candidates must possess? How much do you agree with that?
Yes, I was awarded by my university, Australian National University, and Lions Club International in Canberra. It was an oratory competition, and it was a great privilege that I was the only Indian and the only international student among the 7 selected students out of 15-20,000 students in ANU. So all others were domestic students, and I was the only international student. And I also won the People's Choice Award, which is like the audience, which was not students or my known people. They were not at all acquainted with me. So those people actually voted for me, saying that I was the best speaker out of all those 7 people. It was a great honor. And from that experience, I would draw that my story, the kind of speech I gave, and it was a very sensible and a sensitive speech, I would say. And then the way I spoke, of course, and all those skills you talked about, that mattered a lot. So,
Anyways, thank you very much, Sanjoli. I'm sure that the tips that she has shared with you will definitely help you. And scoring 9.0 bands in speaking, or 8 or 8.5 bands overall is not difficult. And Sanjoli, I would say this is again a wonderful experience that a father can ever have, or the parents can ever have. And that is when you have your own son or daughter sitting on your left or right, sharing such a story. And congratulations to you. Congratulations to your mother also, who has worked very hard to make this academy the best one. And it's a true confession before everybody that I take care of only speaking, and rest of the part is taken care of by Mrs. Gagan Banerjee, who is a planner, who is a strategist, and of course who is a source of inspiration for thousands of students who trust us. Thank you very much. More to come in future. Thank you, Sanjoli. Have a good time.
thank you very much.